Welcome back to 668 Podcast with Brenda
and Bree.
As we continue into episode number 4, we already discussed the washing of the feet,
The baptism,
the wilderness,
yeah.
And now we're going to discuss when Jesus starts his ministry and he chooses his 12 disciples. He starts the calling of his disciples.
Yes.
So what would you do if Jesus came to you right now and called you?
Like how it happened in the Bible?
Yeah.
Where he was walking us along the side of the river and he just started pulling in people.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, come with me. I thought about that question because I was like, she's going to ask me that. I already know. But for me, I would definitely go. Because, and people might be like, that's easier said than done. But for me, it would be easy for me to say yes because I have nothing that I'm attached to that I would want to be like, no, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
For you, I think it would be a little bit more different. I mean, I don't know how your heart is now, but like, I just think about those things. Like, what if I had like kids? What if I had a husband? Like, would I say yes still?
Are you gonna leave Coco behind?
Yeah, that's my question. I mean, Coco will follow us. She can be a disciple. But then I kept thinking about it and I'm like, who better to follow than the person who knows everything about you, the plans he has for you, what he has in store for you.
Yeah.
So I came to the conclusion that I will follow him no matter what.
Okay. It's funny you say that because, in Matthew 4:18, we see that Jesus calls Peter, Simon. His name was Simon. He named him Peter, and his brother Andrew. And in that verse, it says that at once, like, they follow him, right? So they didn't wait or they didn't like hesitate or anything like that. But later down, we can see that he called other people and they did put excuses like, oh, let me go bury my father. Like, let me go say my goodbyes. And attachments can come in many different ways. Like, everyone has a different thing. It can be your parents.
Yeah.
Like, they're too attached to their home, to their parents. They're like, I can't. Like, what are my parents going to say? It can be your kids. It can be your career. Like, what if you're the top, like, I don't know, the top executive at a really huge company? Like, you'd be like, what? Like, I earn so much. Like, oh, the other thing is because when you follow Jesus, you're not gonna have necessarily like a place to stay. Our podcast is gonna be based on Matthew chapter 4, when Jesus calls his disciples. So chapter 4 starting in verse 18.
Yeah.
Matthew chapter 4.
Going back to the question you asked me, if Jesus were to call you today to follow him, what would you say? You gotta leave everything behind. Everything.
Yeah. So after building my relationship with Jesus, I would say yes. Now I still face like disobedience because we can see that the other people, they wanted to follow Jesus, but they put an excuse. So sometimes I feel like I still, maybe I don't put or maybe I create an excuse around it or I delay. When he tells me, like, he has told me to do some stuff, and maybe I'm like, maybe not immediately. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it later. And then later comes and I forget. And then it turns into tomorrow. So that has happened to me. So I would say yes. But the thing about the disciples is that they still had doubt in them. But the difference between them and the other people is that they were willing. And I think that's what makes the difference. The disciples, I think it was really, really interesting that Jesus was pretty specific on who he called.
Yeah, I was also thinking about that.
Like, they weren't just anybody. They were like Matthew, he was a tax collector, right? So we can see that he earned good money.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like during that time, a tax collector, they would earn good money. They were good in status.
Yeah.
And
of all the money they stole from the people.
So yeah, like these people, they were either businessmen. They like if you're a fisherman, they were go getters. Like there was very specific things about them, and when he called them into their ministry, it was like they weren't just anybody.
Another thing is, remember before he did this, he went up to the mountains to fast.
Yeah.
And then before that, he got baptized and the Holy Spirit came upon him.
Yeah.
So he was walking with like certainty. He was walking with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was guiding him.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, the Holy Spirit has something to do in there.
Yeah.
And he knew God knew his son's walk, Jesus' walk. So he knew what was going to happen after what's going to happen next. Yeah. So I think
even with Judas.
Yeah.
Like he played a role.
Yeah, like how you going to, from the beginning, like how you going to choose somebody like that?
Yeah.
Right. But God doesn't judge. He doesn't judge. He'll give you the opportunity to show him otherwise that you're different.
Yeah. Matthew. It says that it says in Luke 5:28 that he got up and he just went. And as a tax collector, I was thinking like, did he question his salary? Like, did he question his income? I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, are you sure? Like, you want to do that?
Yeah. Have you ever had to leave something that brings you a lot of money for something that, you're like basically stepping down out of a high position?
I think yes. And a lot of times, I think just out of peace. Like I've left the position because of out of peace. Like, when you are in the world working for men, there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of like anxiety that has come upon me. And it's like, I have to make the choice. Do I trust God enough to like do it? And I think every single time that I put my trust in, he has always come through. He always comes through. He always comes through. Yeah. Have you?
I haven't had to because I've always, and I think since day one, I feel like I took that advice from my mom. And it's always going to be advices from my mom because, bro, I feel like she's called me my whole life. She always says...
She your go-to? I don't go to my mom for decisions.
No. I take decisions for myself.
Yeah.
But I do talk to her about it after I decide what I'm going to do. Just to see if I made the right decision.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's always said, like, the weekends are for, like, at least the weekends are for God. So every time I go to, like, a job interview or I've chosen a job, I have to make sure my Sundays and Saturdays are free. Not because I don't want to work, but because we have, like, church services, things at church, and that has always been a priority in our house. So I feel like that is my number one thing that I always, when I go and I'm like, I have to have the weekends because I have to go to church.
Yeah. I remember my mom saying, like, if there was one extra day, well, she said it to somebody else. If there's one extra day of the week, you would probably go and work.
Yeah, I heard that from her too. Yeah, she said that.
Yeah.
We all know who it was.
But, she always, like, taught us that. The way she brought us up, like, I know they would judge her and say, like, every day you go to church.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, so.
That's me now. I want to be in church every day.
Yeah. So our dad, he wasn't a Christian at the beginning. He is now, but beginning he wasn't. And he would get so mad because we were always at church. We were at church on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Church on Wednesdays or Thursdays because we had class.
Yeah.
And then Fridays for youth. And then Saturday, celulas or houses of salvation, we call them now. And then
and not
Sundays.
Just that, but like you would evangelism, like you would spend before going into house of salvation.
Oh yeah, on Saturdays
you have to go evangelize.
Evangelize.
That's time being set apart to do all of that.
Yeah. So our Saturday Sundays were always busy, and so my dad, he used to get so mad, and he would just be like, "Why don't you just ask the pastor to give you a room over there, and you can just move your bed?" And I'm like, "This man, like, he didn't understand in the moment, but yeah." So there's a lot
You
of
know,
things.
that's funny. He's Christian now, but he spends a lot of time in church now. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Wow, what would happen if we say that to him? What do you think he will say to us? You should move into church already.
That's a really good question. Yeah.
He'll probably be like, yeah, I'll ask Pastor.
Yeah. Knowing how he is,
Yeah.
but just make fun of it. I'm so stupid.
So yeah, a lot of the times you gotta leave or sacrifice a lot of the things to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
And
The reason he used to say that was because, do you remember every weekend, every Sunday, or I don't know, every weekend we would gather with the whole family and we would go to carne asada or
yeah, he always wanted to do something.
yeah. And I remember one time we had this, I don't know if it's a tradition, but we used to go to the apple and like pick apple.
The apple picking, yeah.
Yeah. And we used to do that with our other family members. And I remember one time, like my mom was like, I'll go to the morning service and in the afternoon we can go apple picking. And he was like, why can't you just like miss church
one day? Yeah.
Why can't you just miss church one day? So
yeah, he used to get really mad.
So I think some stuff like that, like family, like she had to leave certain things.
Yeah, family a lot. Not just my dad said things. I mean, our other family members, when they would come visit, they'll be like, I'm going to go to church. So you guys got to come after that. Mm-hmm. Or we can go to church together.
Yeah.
So I think she did get a lot of criticism when it came to that. Yeah. It's because people, if you don't know God or if you don't like have that love that He has for us,
yeah,
I don't think you will ever be able to understand that love or that sacrifice you gotta make.
Yeah, I think it's just the love you have for God because you would want to know more about Him. You can read the Bible one time, two times, and you can read it again, learn new stuff. So just dwelling in the Lord is peaceful.
It's fulfilling too.
It's fulfilling.
Sometimes you might feel empty, and then out of nowhere you read, and you're just like, I needed that.
Yeah. So, like you said, the people that don't have that love for Jesus, they wouldn't know.
They wouldn't understand.
That's why they see it so different.
Yeah, and then remember when we talked about Jesus beginning his ministry? We talked about letting go of certain things.
Yeah.
And then you asked me what are some things that I let go. So, you know, you got to let go of things like that. And then sometimes too, things that hold you back. Like just this week, I had to tell somebody, they're inviting me somewhere and I have to tell somebody, I don't partake in those activities anymore. Like that's not what I want to do right now. That's not something that I enjoy. That's not something that I see like a benefit out of.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to say it because I'm usually the one to decide upon my life. Like I say yes or I say no to things. So it was not hard for me, but like those are the things that will get you like a long way, and and you're going to be walking a straight path. You're not going to be stopping along the way. You're just going to keep walking, and then removing things, and then you keep walking. But if you don't remove those things, you stop and take breaks and breaks and breaks. And then between those breaks, if you didn't remove something and you stop somewhere, you can easily be persuaded to walk a different path, to walk a different way. And then you're going to have to make a big circle to come back and keep walking the same road you was walking. So it's just things that, like, you know, that set you back.
Yeah, so in Luke 9:57-58, it says, foxes have den, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. So this falls in the cost of.
He was picking his disciples at that moment, and everybody was asking questions. Everybody wanted to follow him, but everybody was asking questions, like, and then he tells them that he starts answering them, and then he tells them that he says the
foxes have dens, birds have nests. Yeah, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head.
Yeah. What do you think about that? What do you think about him saying that to them?
It reminds me of what steps that our brother Angel did to become a missionary. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I was like, well, where are you going to stay? I had so many questions for him, like, where are you going to stay? How are you going to eat? Like, just things humanly, like, I just thought, like, what are you going to do? Like, I don't know. What are you going to do every single day? And now I'm like, would I still follow Jesus? Would I still do Jesus? would I still follow Jesus' call if I didn't have a place to lay my head?
He was basically telling them, you guys are going to be homeless.
Yeah. Not homeless. I think not homeless, but yeah, homeless. Homeless is the word,
Yeah.
right? Because you were without a home. Yeah, homeless. They always had everything they needed,
Yeah.
but just that on, yeah, like you said, it was testing
It's
them.
just a step that you have to take. No, like,
Yeah.
don't think about what's going to happen. Just think about what you're going to be doing.
Yeah. Back to Angel, when he took that decision, for me, I always say like our household, well, because I always heard it from my mom, like, yo en mi casa serviremos a Jehová. Yeah, so already when Angel was taking that step, it was like, it was different. But I was like, wow, like I would have never thought one of us would become a missionary.
Yeah.
But Angel took that step. So for me, at first, I already told you, I had like so many questions in my head. But after he became an inspiration for me. I was like, why do I limit myself in my little brain?
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have taken that step, would I feel the same now? I don't know.
True. I think everything that happens in our family happens for a reason, and I just love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think God just uses us all like very differently, and
in weird ways too.
Yeah, and I'm just grateful for. And I told this to my mom. I had never told her, but I'm gonna cry. I get so emotional
Okay, you just say it and cry at the same time.
because um like the whole purpose of the podcast, it was the whole purpose of the podcast is full surrender. It's like saying like, God, like I'm here, like I'm accepting your call. So this episode is like, I'm accepting your call. It's not like sometimes I have not doubts about the podcast, but I I remember at first I would get FOMO. It's like fear of messing up. But it's like God is always gonna be there with you, no matter if you mess up. And like Jesus was always there for the disciples, even when they had doubt, like even when they had doubts, or they would like when Peter would say like, "Oh, I'm gonna die for you."
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jesus already knew, like, or when Peter denied him 3 times, like Jesus already knew, but he still like accepted him, you know. So it's the same thing. It's like I fear messing up, but like slowly I got rid of that, or I'm like getting rid of that because I already know Jesus died on the cross for me. All my sins are wiped away. I'm gonna mess up, but it's like, what do you do after you mess up, or like, what do you do after you have like doubts, or like whatever might be that
you just keep
up.
going.
Yeah. So what I told my mom was like, I'm just so grateful that you taught me the way, and like now I'm a mother, so I try to do that with Perseus. I think that's the best thing I can do as a mother, and like not just as a mother, but like to disciple him. And I try to change my way, um, not to see myself as a mother, but to disciple him as a follower of Christ, you know. And yeah, so I was telling my mom that like I was so grateful
for her. Yeah, my mom is just awesome. If I were to be born again, I would choose my mom again.
And it sounds so simple, but it's like I'm just so grateful she taught me the way.
Yeah,
Because I have strayed, but now I feel so certain in Jesus.
I mean, even Peter, when he was when they were in the boat and Jesus was in the water and he walked over there.
Yeah.
Midway,
Yeah.
he doubted.
Yeah.
And then he went boom in the water. And who rescued him? God.
Jesus,
yeah, Jesus. So it's the same thing. You might doubt him midway, but he's always gonna come through.
Yeah. So I think, the calling comes back to, are you willing? And getting rid, what are you willing to like
let go of? Yeah. Are you ready to walk with nothing, with no phone?
No phone, no Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Salvation is free. Discipleship costs everything.
Yeah. If you see it that way. If you don't want to go with things, you feel like it costs everything. Well, it literally causes everything. You gotta let go of everything.
Yeah.
What do you think he meant when the last part when he said that?
So no one who placed their hand on the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God. That's like saying, what I understand from it is, it's like saying, so a plow is like a mowing machine. So once it goes, it moves forward, right? So are you gonna be pushing forward and then trying to go back? It's like once you are set to follow, to receive His call, to do His call, you gotta go forward. But if you want to go back and be like, hold on, like I want to go and live the world again, then you're not fit because you can't serve two gods. Like you can't serve two masters at the same time. And I used to think, or I'm not used to think, I didn't see any wrong of it. Like, oh, I go to church, but like this weekend I'm gonna go out with my friends and do this. I wasn't fit to go and like do God's calling.
Yeah. The way I understand this part is it takes me back to 1990 when I was born. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. It takes me back to the 90s centuries.
Were you fit for the calling or not?
It takes me back to the 90s centuries when, let's say the horse is in the wagon, right? Mm-hmm. And you're going somewhere. You're leading because you got to hold on to the thing to lead the horses, and you're leading the horses to go in the path that they need to go. But if you look back and you're going like this, what if because you're looking back, they're not going straight anymore?
Yeah, you're straying away from the path.
Yeah. So that's how I look at it, and I'm saying I'm looking at it that way. Like if you're looking back, then you're not going to go straight, and that's why I say earlier you got to let go of those things because like, if you keep looking back of those things, or if you keep looking back, you're not going to go in the straight path.
And in the path that you were supposed to be taking.
In the path that you're supposed to be going. And during the path, he's going to see rocks, right? The horses get scared about small things too. Like if they see a snake, they get scared. Things like that. Like you got to be paying attention really closely to the road that you're going on, because you're leading the horses. Yeah. You're going on a straight path, but if there's a rock and you trip, there's a setback. Mm-hmm. So you got to make sure you sway it or you remove those things so you continue in the right path. Yeah. That's how I see it, because I'm like, what is he trying to? I was reading that. I'm like, what is he trying to tell him about? Like holding on to. I read it in Spanish, so it was a little different. And then, so I went back. It took me back to that moment where you're in a wagon, you're leading the horses. The same thing with the ministry. If you have somebody that you're leading as well, mm-hmm. as a leader or as anything, like if you're a musician, you're leading the whole worship, right? If you're doing a service in church, or even if you're just bringing people to church, like if you're evangelizing and bringing people to church, that's your responsibility now to kind of help them and guide them and push them in there. Mm-hmm. So they can keep going in the right path, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking about, you have people that you need to make sure that you're leading, or like you said, you have Perseus. Yeah. You got to make sure you're leading him in the right path. Yeah. And you got to make sure you're really looking down and you really like focus where you're going, because if you're looking back or to the sides, your focus is not going to be there anymore. And then you're not going to see the things that are going to come in front of you. And what happens on setbacks? A lot of things can happen on the setbacks. Yeah. What if he goes what if this man went and said bye to his whole family and he never came back? What if he was on his way to say bye to his family and something happened to him and he died? Mm-hmm. So that's why you have to be obedient right away. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's still obedient because in your heart, you know you're going to do it. Yeah. But you're not seeing that little setback that you might think is little, or it's just going to, Mom, 5 more minutes. It's going to be quick. Mm-hmm. But those 5 minutes can turn into 30 minutes. Yeah. A whole day. An ass whooping. An ass whooping. So what excuses are you guys making? Yeah, what decisions are you guys making?
What decisions are you guys making? What excuses are you making? What is delaying you guys from receiving, from doing God's calling? So the truth is, what is the truth?
God is the truth.
The truth is, the disciples were not perfect.
For sure, they weren't.
They received the call, they were willing, but they were a bit messy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very messy at some point.
sometimes they could have been confused. They didn't always understand what Jesus was telling them.
Yeah.
And they had doubt. So I think we all are going to be facing
Those
things as well. But the difference is, once you have a calling, you have to be willing.
Yeah. And God is going to guide you along the way.
Yeah.
He's always going to bring you back to the right away.
Thank you guys for
watching,
tuning in.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
And make sure you guys are commenting. We want to know. We want to know.
We want to know about your walk with God as well.
Yeah.
We're here to receive God's calling and just be willing. Willing.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Bye.